As more states adopt ASTM standards for water park operations, it may be time to review the inspection program in use at your water park. ASTM F2376-08, Standard Practice for Classification, Design, Manufacture, Construction, and Operation of Waterslide Systems, is the current standard which should set the basis for your inspection program. As the owner-operator of a waterslide, the ASTM standards require inspections and maintenance programs based on the waterslide manufacturer's recommendations. Inspection procedures from manufacturers may include only daily pre-operational procedures. If so, develop a complete maintenance schedule and send it to the slide manufacturer for written approval for each slide. Section 11.6.4 of ASTM provides minimum requirements for a manufacturer daily inspection procedures. If your park has an older slide that did not come with recommended procedures, or those procedures are significantly out of date, ASTM was updated in 2008, these minimum requirements are a good starting point for any inspection program.
At weekly safety meetings, review some portion of the initial inspector training. If a particular issue has surfaced, adjust the training and review it during the meeting. On occasion, use this meeting to explain how important these inspections are for successful and safe park operation. Discuss issues that have arisen in the park. Once a week, declare a point of emphasis for everyone to look at during inspections. This helps all inspectors to remember these issues in the coming weeks.
So we have kind of two types of forms that we use. And so every slide we have has the daily pre-operational log, okay? And on this we go through generally a real brief of what you've been trained at the beginning of the year, and it's just to highlight your memory of what you're supposed to be looking at. So when you go to the start tower, it talks about you're supposed to be checking the handrails, you're supposed to be checking the signs. You should be checking the grates at the start tub, the anti-friction or the friction tape to make sure the tape's there so we don't have a slip and fall incident. So, and one of the keys here that I noticed we've been getting a little lack on is you're really supposed to be carrying these and initialing it as you go, and that kind of is to remind you to get everything that we want you to get. If you go do all your inspections and then come back here in the office and then initial them all, then you tend not to read this, and we really want you to read it as you go through it. Okay, the other form is what was known in the military as a squawk card, right? And so this is non-PM work that needs to get done. So the way we've kind of set it up is if it's something that maintenance can handle right away, I think you guys have just been calling maintenance over and we're not doing a squawk card. But if maintenance can't get to it right away, then one of our leads will fill out this squawk card. And basically what this has on it is it's the ride name, it's the ride down. If it's down, then we're going to hit it real fast. The date, who found it, was it a complaint from the guest, or was it part of our inspections, or was it a different inspector, did they find it? And just a real brief description of what was found. Right, so if it was a crack in the fiberglass that you were concerned about, you want someone else to take a look at, you would put it down here. Okay, and then this is a two-part form, right? So it automatically makes a carbon copy. This floppy part comes back to our office, and we keep that as a record. This part goes to our maintenance staff, and then when they fill it out, they say what they did to resolve the situation, who did it, and what date it was completed, and then they bring that back, and then our leads then put these together and put them in our permanent record.
So we number all of our slides, usually from left to right, starting at the bottom, 1 up through slide 8, and then we number each section of the slide going up. So here we have 155 because this is slide 1 in the section, and it's flume 55. So the importance of that is basically when we find an issue on the slide, we can report back to maintenance, and they know exactly, where we're talking.
As a rule, if you are not going to perform or cannot perform the inspection, don't include it on the procedure. Set up 3 to 4 different inspection frequencies. Daily inspections include minimum required inspections to assure safe operation, should include walking the ride surface and beneath the ride to look for issues which will cause an immediate hazard to riders, looking for cracks with sharp edges or caulk which bulges out which may harm guests. Flumes too steep to walk should be inspected from the bottom and top of the slope. If staffing allows, dedicated seasonal inspection teams should be used for these inspections. With additional training, slide attendants or lifeguards can also perform the inspection.
Alright, this is the kind of damage that we have our inspectors looking for. This sharp edge coming into, so that the slider's running this way, and they would come into that sharp edge of the fiberglass. And this is where a repair that was done in the off-season has started to fail. If this was a body slide, we couldn't have this kind of edge. And this is right on the edge for a tube slide, but because we have tubes running over this, it's still an acceptable condition.
Every day with our inspections, we check the ride vehicles, or whatever we use to ride on the rides, including tubes, and these are mats that we also check, and we check to see if the tubes are inflated and if the handles are still right. And for these, we check to see if the mats are still intact, and so they're safe for the guests to use.
So we monitor the amount of water that's pumped into the slide using flow meters, and every flow meter is supposed to be running at a specific range. We have our ranges noted on our checklist, and the ranges are provided by the manufacturer. And all we do is we make sure that it's within that, and if it's not, then we notify maintenance to get it taken care of.
Today we're talking a little bit about what kind of climbing gear we have. We have two sets of climbing gear. We have rappelling gear, which we inspect slides with on a weekly basis. And then we have climbing gear that we use on an annual basis, where we climb up to all the cross arms and check the steel and check all our connections. The set of gear we have here is our rappelling gear. Stefan, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what we have in our pack?
Well, you have your nylon leashes, so before you rappel and you have your rope to tie down to, you wrap around a thicker beam. That way when you're going down, it's not just rope and it don't slip off the beams and you fall down sides. You have your carabiners, which you hook your rope onto after you tie down with your nylon leash. You have your 5-point harness. It has one strap on each leg, strap around the hip, goes over the shoulders, straps on your shoulders and hooks at the waist. You have your helmet, so when you're going down the side, you don't bump your head. And of course, you got your rope.
Alright, so we have here set up a typical tie-off so we can rappel down the speed slide. Note that we always connect to 2 points of the structure, kind of a redundant system. And then we have a system, we use a figure-8 knot with a carabiner. We always have a secondary knot, and then we come to our rappel system. You really need to have a qualified person determine where your tie-offs are and show you the proper knots and the proper arrangement here. So Stefan's going to go ahead and head down and do his job and inspect this slide.
Weekly and or monthly inspections include general structural inspections as well as necessary inspections required for warranties. This inspection is more thorough than the daily inspections and should review safety and maintenance concerns. Slides which are too steep to safely walk are thoroughly inspected by the inspection crew wearing safe climbing gear. On larger, more complicated slides, use maintenance staff to perform the medium-term inspection, because some of the mechanical inspections are more complicated and a fresh set of eyes is beneficial. During the medium-term inspections, concentrate on maintenance issues. Is there anything that can be done to slow that little leak down, or can it be addressed at the end of the season? Is any touch-up painting required? Do water sprayers need cleaning, etc.? Annual inspections, the most detailed of all, include detailed structural inspections and a thorough ride path inspection. A crew of inspectors will use climbing gear to work their way up to visually inspect every bolted or welded connection in each slide tower. Due to the heights involved, these inspections require training and safety equipment to throw ropes and ascend up to high cross arms and structural joints. The senior inspector should walk every slide to assess the condition of concrete caissons, steel and wood towers, and to review conditions that had been noted during previous inspections. Think of the annual inspection as the best time to make our to-do list for off-season maintenance. If you don't log your maintenance, you didn't really do the work.
In summary, a good inspection program works with a slide manufacturer to determine doable daily, weekly, and annual inspection procedure, works through a specially trained and equipped inspection team, documents each inspection and provides a verifiable work order system to ensure issue resolution, and strives to keep all participants engaged and committed to the laudable goals of safe and trouble-free park operations.